So hi guys, welcome here. My name is Daniel and I'll be putting us through a tutorial video on how to create an inventory for a fashion store. The name of the fashion store will be M&S Fashion Store, and this tutorial video will be divided into two parts. That is, one is for the inventory and the second will be for the automation. For the inventory we'll be using, setup for the inventory we'll be using Airtable for the storing of data and all other things, and for the automation we'll be making use of anything. I know my previous tutorial video I've explained some little steps on how to go about using anything. So if you probably have issues or you don't know much about anything, you can check out my previous videos to know more about it. And for the inventory table, we would not really make much. I'll just be doing a brief overview, so it will not take too much time, but it will be quite explanatory, so you'll be able to understand it very well. And the automation too, yeah, you'll be able to understand it because it only has to do with the summary of sales for that day. Um, Sending of emails for reminder. What I mean is threshold level. If the stock level is less than or equal to the threshold level, that means you need to restock. That is the restock alert. That's what we'll be sending it for. And the third one will be for review, customer reviews. So I think those are the major automation we'll be doing for that store. So if there's any other automation I'll be adding to it, I'll let you guys know when we move to the part two of automation. So without wasting too much time, let's just get right into the tutorial video. So welcome guys. I know before when I was doing the intro, I said this is going to contain two phases. That means the inventory part and the automation part. So this is the inventory part where we'll be talking about the items used in the fashion store. And the name of the fashion store is M&S Fashion Store. That was the name I gave it for the inventory. And for the automation, we'll be using anything for the automation. So those are the two phases which we'll be working on. So I'll be giving you a breakdown of how the inventory is. So in case you have a store and you want to make an inventory for that store, this is how it looks like. So we have three parts to this inventory. We have the inventory items, I mean three tables, sorry. We have the inventory item, we have the sales transaction, and we have the suppliers. So for the inventory item, that is where all the products that is in the store is going to be. So all items that the store has is going to be in the inventory item. Then the sales transaction table is where it's each sales for each day is going to be recorded. I will show you how that is done. And we also have the suppliers table, which indicates how the each product that is being supplied to the store, where it's being recorded. So each of them have their own different record, and I'll show you how it's going to look like. So for the inventory item, we'll use four examples for this. So the first column we have the item name, which is the name of all the items that's coming in, and this alone has its own form, so you can decide to use a form or you can type it directly. And the same thing with the sales. I'll explain that process too of how you can use form to input the details in case you're not there, or in case the salesperson in the store wants to record it. The person can actually use either the a form, or the person can do it directly from there. The form is actually much more easier, so it's the person can do it anyway, any place or anytime, and doesn't have to actually have like your system with you, or you just need to click on the form and fill in, and just automatically do it for you. So we have the first one on the list is the item name. We have flower, some address, and then we have the SKU, which is mainly the identification for each store. It's something that in normal store, each store has their different SKU. It's mainly the combination of the item number and the and code number. So it's more like a distinguisher, so you have to identify the product. So for floral sum address, we have FLD 123, denim jacket DGA 456. So these are the SKU, and it's we have the category, which is single select, or it depends, or you can make your own to multiple select depending on the one you have. So formal dress is actually dresses. So let me show you the kind what it is. So we have top, bottom, dresses, outerwear, and accessories. These are the categories I selected for this. So depending on what you want to use, you can decide to use dress, outerwear, accessories, some or more. You can decide to use shoes depending on what your store is all about. And then you have the size. The size is also single select, which we have extra small, small, medium, large, and extra large. Which is like I said, both for category and size, we have single select for that. You can make yours multiple select, so that means the dresses can both be medium and at the same time extra small, or it can be both be medium small, depending on what you want. And each one has item color. We have floral prints, light blue, black, and white with print. The reason why I made the color um I made the color as a name instead of using as a single selector, so is because I wanted each dress to have its own unique color. So for example, if I'm adding up, later on I'll show you, remember that if I'm adding up for flower summer dress and I said flower print, and there's another flower summer dress light blue, for example, I want it to distinguish between the two of them. I don't want it to roll up everything together. So if I'm to distinguish it, I'll actually put as another inventory, I'll put flower summer dress light blue under here instead of Jamaica. I'm just using it as an example. So it distinguishes based on color. I want it to distinguish based on color, not on size, not on category, but based on color. And we have the stock level, which is the difference between the quantity received and the quantity sold. So I'll show you how I calculated that. I used the stock level is to show the amount of product that we currently have in store. That is the stock level. Um, so it's a formula, and the formula was quantity received minus quantity sold. So that is quantity received minus quantity sold. That is to generate the formula. And we have the reorder level. Reorder level is more like a threshold for where I want my item to get to. So once my item, the stock level gets below this item or the same number with this item, it automatically send an automation to the manager telling them that, oh, this specific product has reached its threshold, so you need to reorder. So the order level can be different depending on the kind of product you want, so it's depending on individual cases. So for the order level for floral dress is 10, for jacket is 5, for the leather belt 10, for graffiti is 20. So whenever in the later part of the automation, that is the second part of the automation, the video, I'll show you actually um, how it works. So this is the stock level, the order level. The order level is just a number, and we have the supplier. The supplier was linked from the suppliers table, so I linked it from suppliers table. So these are the names of people supplying all these products. We have Stylish, Stretco, Prismaria for floral dress. So if we have another supplier that's supplying for floral summer dress too, to appear here on suppliers list as long as the person chooses floral summer dress. So you can have 5 or 6 suppliers supplying a single item. For example, let's say you have a shoe, or let's say a black shoe, and then you have different suppliers supplying that same shoe to you, depending on what you want, or you want it to appear there. So it shows here that, oh, this supplier supplied, these are the name of supplier that supplies this product. And then we also have like I said, I linked it from the suppliers table, so it's a linked record. So linked to supplier, that's what I did. So for you to link, all you just need to do is go to your find your type field, click on link to another record, and then you link to, and as you can see here, you can see link to suppliers, link to sales, link to inventory. So I linked it to supplier, and that was how I got it. And we have the photos. The photo is pictures of the product that we have, even though this doesn't really fit in with the name of the product, but it's just a sample, so that's why I use that. And we have the quantity received. The quantity received is a roll up. What I mean by roll up is it's going to calculate it based on the suppliers level on suppliers table, the amount of product that is being received for floral summer dress. So if in a week On Monday we have 10. Someone the supplier supplied 10 flowers from address, and then on Wednesday supplied 15. So it will automatically do the roll up every time it's being supplied for the item name, because we are, like I said, we are supplying it based on the item name, not based on size or anything. So it's rolling up, and let me show you how that is done. So you click on I name this quantity receipt. That means these are the quantity we are receiving from suppliers, and then I added the roll up. That means you obviously do search for it, search for the roll up. Sorry, so you roll up and you click on, you select the supplier. We have supplier and we have this transaction. So click on the supplier. Then after that, you click on quantity, because it's the quantity you want to so roll up the quantities that is being supplied. I'll explain once I get to the suppliers table. I understand what we understand what I mean by quantity. So the quantity is the amount that is being received from the supplier. So let's say the suppliers sent 10 flowers from address. You write 10 there as the quantity that's been there. So it's the quantity that's being calculated up, and then you put your aggregate, which is what we want to do, sum up all the values. So we put sum in bracket values. That's how we did it for roll up, and the same thing applies to the quantity. So but the only thing with this quantity sold is that for quantity so um, we used the we used the suppliers table. Now we'll be using the sales transaction ID, which is the sales table. So so we have this. We chose the sales transaction ID this time because we're selling. So we want to roll up all the items that is being sold. Remember, we want to compare to know the stock that we have on the ground. So for it to do that, you have to roll up. That means you have to subtract the roll up from quantity received and the roll up from quantity sold for us to get the stock. So and again we'll choose quantity sold this time instead of quantity supplied or quantity received, because we're looking for the quantity, how many quantities being sold. So with the same thing to put the sum, we want the sum of all the values. Then for this sales info and suppliers info, I'll explain to you how we got that in the course of the video. And this is the sales transaction ID. So each time is sales generated, a unique ID is being generated. Each time is sales is each time is a unique ID generated for that sales. So in case there's an issue, all the person has to do is mention sales transaction ID. This was something I inputted myself. Like I felt like it's really needed in case there's an issue or you want to track something, be able to know it based on the ID. So if someone bought a flower some address, it will appear under this ID that what is a flower some address was being bought. So it's very easy for you to track your items with a unique ID for each sale. So basically as well for the inventory items, most of them were linked, like this sales transaction ID is linked from the sales table. So like I said before, for the sales info and supply info, that is just a link that I use for the gallery view. Let me show you the gallery view. So this is the gallery view, and the reason why I did a gallery view is for it's for the sales rep or the manager, in case each sales rep or manager will have entitled to this page alone, like the sales rep, whoever is in the store, have entitled to it. So in case anybody wants to sell or supply a product, all she has to do is fill a form, and I linked the form to this sales or suppliers table. So each time she makes a sales, if she wants to sell a specific item, let's say someone wants to buy 10 denim jackets, she click on sales, and or if someone wants to supply, she click on supply. So it will automatically fill the denim jacket in the form. So I made it to pre-fill it. That was what I did. So it makes it easier for the person who is selling who is selling the product to identify which product they are selling. And I'll show you how the pre-fill is done. um, so let's go to the sales item. I'll come back to it to show you how I prefilled and added the sales and supplier info here. So for the sales table, I separated it based on transaction ID. Like I said before, each time a sales is made, the first thing after the create a transaction ID, and I make sure that I did it based on dates. Like I grouped it based on date. So each time a sales is made, it will put it on that specific date because we need that date for the automation. That was the reason why I actually filtered it that way. And then we have this transaction ID, which is the unique ID, And we have generation dates. Each date is very important because you need the date to know, oh, this was the day this person purchased this and sold this or did that. So we have the sales dates, the customer name, the person that um, bought the product, the customer's email, the total amount. Total amount is a formula method because it's the multiplication of quantity sold times the unit price. I will get there. So I just want to say that it's the formula method. How we got it was the multiplication of quantity sold and unit price. Each product has its own unit price. That means a specific item can cost like let's say $50 or so, and then the quantity the person can decide to buy three products. That will be 50 times three. That is 150. So the total will be 150. And that's how we got the total amount of that is being bought. And we also have the payment method. Payment method is single select, which is credit card, cash, mobile payment, gift card. So those are the method that is being chosen here. And we also have the sales associate, that means the person that sold the product to the person, that means the sales associate. So these are the follow that is and it's usually under single line text, that means single. Since it's very short, so it's just a short name that we need. And we have the item sold. The item sold is being gotten from the link. We got the item sold from the inventory table. I told you it was linked from the inventory table. So you say linked to inventory table because we want to get the name of the item that's being sold based on what is in the inventory table. So you just link it to the inventory table, and then you get to select which of the product it is. It's something with the supplier. The suppliers is being gotten from is a single select, but it's being gotten from the suppliers or the inventory table too. So you can add yours individually as as their suppliers increases. So with here you have the option to select more from it. So that is based on that. So you'll be able to know the reason why we added supplier to the sales transaction is because at the end of the day, you get to ask the customer for a review on the product being sold. It's still based on the automation, so we'll get to that part. It sends it you send the form to the that's how we collected their details here to send the form to them later on 2 days after they've purchased it to fill to give their review. So if the reviews are bad or they're not really okay, you'll be able to trace who the supplier is and know how you can fix the problem from supplier. Maybe you want to address the supplier that, oh, I've been receiving a lot of complaint of this product from this your um, brand or goods, and I would like it if you guys can make amend, or if you want to change the supplier, then you'll be able to know which is the issue. So the supplier there is able to know, okay, this product I'm sending to this person, it's from which of these suppliers. So you'll be able to keep your record much more intact. And we have the quantity sold. That means, as I explained before, that is the amount, not the amount, the quantity that is being like the total, yeah, the total amount that is being sold, not the price, but the quantity, total quantity. Like if you're buying 5 denim jackets, so the quantity is 5, and we have the unit price. Each unit price is 5. Like each unit price is each product has its own specific unit price, so it's very easy for you to do the total amount because the price for denim jacket cannot be the same for belts. It will be different price, so each of them have their own different prices. And then we have the item. The reason why I linked this from here, like I did a lookup, oh sorry, I did a lookup from this and did not link it was because if you are using anything can actually read a linked item from a specific table unless it's from that table itself. So if I'm trying to generate the item name, because if I want to do the automation part here, it's supposed to tell me the total the total number of goods that was bought, the name of the goods that was bought. But since it's on anything cannot read it as item name, it will read it instead as a code because it is linked from another table. So that means the only way for me to actually generate the name itself is to do a lookup from that item table. So I did a lookup from the item sold, which is um, from the inventory and from the table itself, which is this item sold here. I did a lookup for it, so I brought it back into it and I made it a name instead. So all it just has is a name. So each time I select the item that is being sold is flooded, it comes here automatically as instead of linked from a table, it just brings out the name here. And only because I added this is because of the automation. So if you're not doing an automation for this and you just want a normal inventory, there's no need for you to actually add this to it. And we have the customer review, which I'll explain the automation part. So this is where the customer fills the form that automatically comes up here, which is the automation part. So the next one we have is the suppliers table. That one is also based on date. We have the supplier's name, which you know of. So most of from the sales and inventory were linked from this table. So the supplier's name is where you fill it, and then it automatically appears in your inventory and your sales due to the fact that it's linked. It's a linked table. So after that, we now have the inventory item. That means the item that was being bought. Um, and then we have the contact person. That means who um who did you buy the product from? So which brand are you buying the product from? The contact email, the phone number of the person that you're buying or the company you're buying the product from, the address of the person, the city, the country, the postal code, the supplier's photo. That means each time is each time there is each time there is a supplier, each time there is the supply product, you're able to get the image. You just take a picture or how, I don't know, it depends on your preference. In my own head, I'm like, okay, each time the product is being supplied, take a picture of the product and upload it here so it will be easier for you. And then we have the product categories here, and which is multiple select. So that means a product itself might be both footwear and accessories together. So that is the product categories, and it's multiple select. So that in case, for example, we have the denim jacket can be both clothing and accessory together, which is not though. So that is just an example. And then we have rating. Rating is not really important here, so it depends on if you feel, oh, I want to add ratings for the suppliers. It's not really important. Yeah, and we have the supply date, and the date that was being supplied, and what was being bought from the den, which I got from the inventory. So we got the names of what is being supplied from the inventory. So each time someone is bringing a product, or a supplier is bringing a product, be able to get it based on the related inventory, which is I linked it from the inventory item because it's the virtual item that contains all the list of all the products here. So the only way for me to get it is through the inventory there. And we have the quantity. The quantity that was being supplied. For example, we have the denim jackets, 40 pieces of denim jacket was supplied. So that means quantity is 40 pieces, 40. So yeah, we don't need the unit price in this table because we're not selling. It's only where it in sales table that unit price applies. So there's no need for us to do total amount or anything like that in the supplier table because all we are doing is the is for the is for the supplier. But you can decide to add your own amount. Let's say for example for the 40 pieces, this is the amount I bought it. Let's say amount bought. You can add that, okay, for this 40 pieces I bought this thing for 100. Then you cannot decide to do a roll up for the different amounts to know, okay, how much you made, the gains you made on this, and it depends on your preference too. So if you can add the amount for 40 pieces of denim jackets, then another day you had, so you just you roll up, calculate the difference between a quantity of that, a total amount of that one to total amount that is being sold for each product, and to be able to get a profit or loss. So it depends on a specific person if you want to do that. But that's basically all for how the thing went. So the next one I'll be showing you is the form part where I did the form. So like I said, each person has access to it based on the gallery. So this is how the form will look like. We have for the supplier, this add item, it automatically bring out if you click on that from that gallery, if the suspect click on any product there to bring out the product in this related inventory item. So the person doesn't need to select denim jackets. So right now, if I say add item now, you can get select which of the items I want to put for it. But for if I'm clicking it from that gallery based on the product, So I'll show you what I mean by that. So it will bring out the items immediately, and I'll show you how we got how I did that. So the next thing is the supplier's name, which the person will fill the supply date, contact person, contact email, phone number, address, city. Those are all the things that are on that table. The country, postal code, quantity, and the supply photos and ratings. This is how for the supplier's form looks like. Then for the sales is the same thing actually. It's just the same thing. Item search, transaction date, customer name, customer email, payment method, supplier, so sales as usual, quantity sold, unit price. So this is all for the form itself. So it gets to fill on that table. All the person has to click on this thing, fill the table, and that's all. So you don't need to actually say you're doing it on your phone, typing it one by one. Just fill the form and that's it. For the new inventory item, so each item that comes to the store, you need to put it so when the person is, if you are selling or you're supplying, the person will know that okay, there's a new product in store, and that's how. And this is the form for that. We have the item name, the SKU, category. The category should be single select. Yeah, single select. And then we still have the size, which is also single select. The color, the other level. I mean that is for new product. We have the photo of the whole thing, and yep, that is all. The remaining one, as you're selling and receiving, it will fill up as time goes on, just the way the we set it to be, just like the roll up, the threshold, and the stock level and all that. So that's how it should be. So let me go back to the inventory item. Let me show you how I did the gallery part. So for the sales, um okay, I think I'll need to go to the Google. Okay, this is what I meant. Let me show you an example. For this lower sum address, now if I click on sales, that means salesperson also to come to this page. This is the page I've been supplied to each sales rep, and there's I think I added the password to it. Yeah, I knew I had it. So in the case you want to, you can decide to add a password or not. So not everybody will be able to access the form. So as you can see, before the floral sum address pops it automatically, that was because I prefilled it there. So that means all the person needs to do is click on the master address and it's automatically prefill. So all the person has to do is the salesperson add the transaction date, customer name, email, payment method, customer name, email, payment method, supplier, sales associates, quantity sold, unit price, and that's all. So it's made it much more easier. You can be anywhere. You can be in the store. You don't need to say you're looking for start typing the whole thing into a system or anything like that. No, you can just use your phone. Go to that the page that's been supplied for you. Click on it, fill the form, and that's all. And the next thing is registered already that you sold the product. Same thing applies to the supplier, and that's how it okay. So how we got the sales link. The first thing we have to do is to um, use a sale button. That means the field type should be button, and then sorry after that then you now input. Like I said before, we have to prefill it so it's actually show once you click on it to actually show that details there. So the first one will be the label, which will be sales. That is the name you want to put it as. The style, I chose the colors. That means gray. It can be any color. I chose solid gray. And then the action is open URL. So whenever I click on it, it should open the URL. That means the link we're posting. That's what it should open. The other actions there is open in page design, run script, preview URL, send email, send SMS with Tilo. So that means different things you can do. But we chose or I chose is open URL. So whenever you click on it, it's actually open the URL. So yeah, the first thing the next thing we need to do is to put the URL formula. So the first thing is to put an apostrophe, and then you copy the link of your form. That means the form you created, you copy it and you paste it here. So this is the form link here. It will stop here, and then after the form link, you put another apostrophe, then you put and, that means append. You put and then another apostrophe, single apostrophe, and then double, single, and then question mark. Then you now write in prefill, then underscore. So now the item we want to prefill is the item sold. So that means the item sold is what we want to prefill in that form. So you put prefill, then underscore, then you write the name of the table you want to prefill, the name of what should I call it? The name of the product itself that I want to prefill. So I use items percent 20. Is used in place of space. You don't use when you're writing a code. You don't use there's no space there, so you make use of percent 20. So that's how I use the table of prefilling is item is the item sold, which is being gotten from the sales table. So it's the same table there. The first thing there is the item sold. That's how we got it. So we have preferred underscore item percent 20 sold is equal to then the apostrophe, and then you put record ID, then you put in your record ID, then you close the bracket. Once you put on record ID to only open one bracket, then you have to close the bracket for it to work. And that's it. The same thing you do in for supply. You copy and paste the form here, prefill, then you put in the name of the table you want to prefer, name of the item you want to prefer. Like in for this supply, the same thing we're doing. You can see the form and the apostrophe question mark, then prefill underscore. So what we're preferring is the related inventory items. That is related percent 20 inventory percent 20 items. That's what we're prefilling. Is equals to then the apostrophe and then your record ID, then you close the bracket, and that is it. So if for your prefilling this time, if what we want to prefill is the quantity received, then after this prefill we'll put underscore quantity, and then we'll put percent 20 received, and you continue with the equals to apostrophe and then the record ID, and that is how it will be. So basically that's how it will be, and how we're able to get the gallery. So whenever we click on gallery, it takes us there, and it's not at all, it's not complicated at all. You can just follow this prompt and you're able to get it. So it's not necessary whichever table you name it as, that's how you'll be able to the table type name, that's how you'll be able to prefill it. So if you are prefilling for example transaction ID or sales ID, you put prefill underscore sales, then percent 20, then ID. Then since there'll be space within, unless there is no space in between, and that's when you don't put percent 20. But if there's space in between the two words, you put percent 20 to make it work. Then you continue with the whole workflow, which is equals to, and then your record ID and all that. So yeah, that's just how it works for that. I know for the part two, we'll be talking about the automation part, where I'll be showing you how to do the automation, how to get the item from Airtable all the way to anytime. It's actually a very, very simple process. It's nothing that will take too much time at all. So yeah, thank you very much for listening, and don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. Watching. Bye.